Hey, welcome back, guys. I don't know if you guys have been following the Trevor Bauer story, but basically, this guy is the former star pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And he got disgraced because a woman named Lindsey Hill came out and accused him of sexual assault. So he's been fighting this case for about 2 years, and it's been pretty bad. He's got, suspended. No other American Major League Baseball team would sign him. And I think he ended up playing in Japan or something like that. So it had huge consequences for him. But yesterday he came out on Twitter and gave us a 4-minute video pretty much clearing his name, at least as far as the Lindsey Hill case is concerned. 2 years later, and I can finally talk about this.
Next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. A text Lindsey Hill sent to a friend before she ever even met me. "What should I steal?" she asked another, in reference to visiting my house for the first time. The answer? Take his money. So how might that work? "I'm going to his house Wednesday," she said. "I already have my hooks in. You know how I roll." Then, after the first time we met, "Net worth is 51 mil, she said. "Bitch, you better secure the bag," was the response. But how is she going to do that? "Need daddy to choke me out," she said, being an absolute whore to try to get in on his 51 million.
So what we're seeing here is these are court documents, and as the attorneys are fighting the case, they're probably doing discovery on each other, and they probably subpoenaed, the cell phone companies to provide text messages from either of these parties. And the text messages he's showing us is from Lindsey Hill, who's accusing him of sexual assault, and she's basically detailing her whole plan with one of her friends about how she's going to get money out of this guy. They come up with as a strategy is that she's going to get him to choke her out. So this is a New York Times article from August of 2021. So this is when it was first going down. But what's interesting about this is this paragraph here. It says, in her filings and testimony, the woman said that she had initiated contact with Bauer and that what had begun as a consensual relationship in April with some agreed upon rough sex led to sexual acts that were not consensual. She also said she had been choked with her hair until she lost consciousness. She said that she had returned to Bauer's house in Pasadena in May and had established a safe word that would signal her desire to stop, but that she was again choked until she lost consciousness and was punched. So this is significant because now we're seeing the text messages between her and her friend before they ever did anything, where they're coming up with this plan of like, hey, you got to get him to choke you out.
Then, after the second time we met, former Padres pitcher Jacob Nix told her, "You got to get this bag." "I'll give you 50,000, Lindsey replied. Her AA sponsor asked her at one point, "Do you feel a tiny bit guilty?" "Not really," she replied. Since then, her legal team has approached me multiple times about coming to a financial settlement. But, as I have done since day one, I refuse to pay her even a single cent. In August of 2021, Lindsey Hill's claims were heard in court, and during those legal proceedings, critical information was deliberately and unlawfully concealed from me and my legal team. Information like this video, which was taken by Lindsey Hill herself the morning after she claimed she was brutally attacked, emotionally traumatized, and desperate to get away from me. And now we have the metadata, so there can be no dispute. It was taken mere minutes before she left my house on the morning of May 16th, 2021. Without my knowledge or consent, of course. In it, you can see her lying in bed next to me while I'm sleeping, smirking at the camera without a care in the world, or any marks on her face. I think it paints a pretty clear picture of what actually happened the evening of May 15th, and why the video was originally concealed from us. After hearing the evidence available to her, Judge Diana Gold-Saltman found that Lindsey Hill had misled the court. She found her claims to be materially misleading. She denied her request for a domestic violence restraining order, and she found that no sexual assault or non-consensual conduct took place. Now, some of you might not know about restraining order hearings. I know I didn't, but I've since learned that it's extremely rare for a request for a restraining order to be denied because the standard of proof that you need to obtain one is extremely low.
I used to see a lot of restraining order cases, especially back at child support. That's how a lot of divorces and child support cases begin, that the restraining order comes first. Mom usually gets legal physical custody 100%, and dad has to leave the house, regardless of if they're still married or whatever the case is. So mom now has 100% custody. She comes into the child support office and, the whole engine kicks on, basically.
So you can make of that what you will. The fact is, I was never arrested. I was never charged with a crime, and I won the only legal proceeding that took place without my side of the story even being heard. And most importantly, as I've said from day one, I never sexually assaulted Lindsey Hill, or anyone else for that matter. So I sued her, which prompted her to countersue me. Quite frankly, regardless of the outcome in court, I've paid significantly more in legal fees than Lindsey Hill could ever pay me in her entire life. And I knew that would be the case going in. But the lawsuit was never about the money for me. It was the only way for me to obtain critical information to clear my name. The discovery process in that lawsuit recently concluded, at which point Lindsey Hill's legal team again came to us with another proposal to resolve the case. This time, however, they weren't seeking any money from me. Having received much of the information that had been hidden from us, a small portion of which I've referenced here, I was willing to agree to the terms proposed. Both parties would drop their respective lawsuits, and neither of us would pay either side any money. I also retained my right to speak publicly about the case, something I have not been at liberty to do since June of 2021. So, as of today, both lawsuits have been settled. Now, over the last 2 years, I've been forced to defend my integrity and my reputation in a very public setting. But hopefully this is the last time I have to do so, as I'd prefer to just remain focused on doing my job, winning baseball games and entertaining fans around the world. So today, I'm happy to be moving on with my life.
The fact that he was able to get that kind of proof and be able to clear his name, he's lucky he had some money to work with to be able to spend all that money on lawyers to fight this case in the first place. And like he said, he's not going to get any blood out of a turnip here. That's Lindsey Hill. He might get a judgment against her, but it's highly unlikely she's going to get any money. I mean, she definitely doesn't have any. This false allegation came and basically ruined his career in a very, very important time of it. I mean, he lost 2 years, and that's a huge deal if you're an athlete. That's it. You know what I mean? Now what? I mean, is the MLB gonna hire him again? Are the Dodgers gonna pick him back up? Is Lindsey Hill going to go to jail? And this is the picture that she submitted. She probably, it's all very Amber Heard. I don't know if you guys remember Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, and she had that picture where she was supposedly assaulted, but it wasn't that bad, or it looked like she hit herself or something. Same deal here. She's got the busted lip, the black eyes, going for the $51 million bag. But then we see the cell phone video of her taking a little video selfie, and she's perfectly fine, perfectly happy. He's just sleeping there like a rock. And that's it, And it's like, I don't know. Is there a law against this? Should this woman be given the same sentence for the crime she accused him of? What should happen to this lady at this point? Does she just get to walk free? Because as far as I'm concerned, that's a crime. She completely ruined this guy's career and his life practically. If there was ever a case to legalize prostitution, this would be it right here. When you think about it, Trevor Bauer made a mistake. He went for some hookup sex. This woman reached out to him on Instagram, of all places, made it super easy for him. He really didn't see what was going on, and he got completely taken advantage of. Maybe it would have just been better to pay for it up front instead of having to go through what he did with this whole freaking debacle. Anyways, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I just wanted to share this video with you because what's contained in it is just so important for people to know. People could be really running this kind of game on you. And if I learned anything from when I was working at the child support office, it's that the more money someone made, it just made them a much bigger target. It's like, if you're this big fish, there's just a shark out there that's like watching you, waiting to eat you. And that's what happened to Trevor Bauer. He unfortunately paid a heavy price for this. He lost his contract with the Dodgers, and I think he's in Japan now or something. And I mean, who knows what that's like? Maybe the pay's still good. We'll see if an American team signs him back on now, since he's cleared his name, at least from this case. I did read that other women came out and accused him of assault, but that's the problem with this kind of thing. When someone does something like this, it really makes you think, like, how can you believe all women? This is such an outright, like, evil, insidious thing. And it's like, okay, there's these other women accusing him. I can't believe it, till I see it at this point. And for women that are actually victims of this kind of thing, this does nothing but just, set things back for them 20, 30, 40 years. Because now people are just less ready to believe them if they actually were real victims. But that's the way it's got to be. I mean, unfortunately, we can't have women coming out here lying about this kind of thing and just people's careers that they've worked years for getting completely ruined like that overnight. We'll catch you on the next one.